Welcome to the Odin Shot. We've eventually got round to looking at the Balda camera, which I revealed 2 videos ago. It's an eBay purchase, described as untested, and when I unboxed it I looked at it, saw that the lens was very clean, the aperture blades and shutter blades were clean and dry. The selenium cell appeared to be working. When I shone a torch in it, the needle moved rapidly, and in use I found that the rangefinder spot is very bright and very easy to see and use. So the shutter sounded nice, and I thought, great, we'll get out there and take some photos. It just shows how hard it is to get a true impression of something just by looking at it. I realised fairly quickly that I only had one shutter speed. Excuse me. Yes, only one shutter speed, and when I tried it out and unboxed it, I said that the 1 second and half second seemed to be awfully quick. I tried it over all the speeds, carefully looking through the lens to see the shutter close, and it was obvious. There was no difference between any setting, it was all the same. And I compared it with another camera, and I came to the conclusion that it was working at the fastest speed, which was a 300th of a second. I thought, okay, I've never used an ISCO lens before, and the colour Western R, I was excited to give it a go, and I thought I can work around one shutter speed. I'll just do Sunny 16s and check with the meter, work on a 300th and just adjust the aperture. So that's what I did. I loaded it with HP5 and we went to Newcastle and had a day shooting. There's a few things became obvious in use. The focusing is not on the lens, it's actually here on the body. As you turn it, the whole lens moves. It's not very comfortable on the finger. That's a very thin piece of knurled metal, and it can be painful if you're using it too much. The other thing is there's not a great deal of movement on the dial, and therefore it seems to be hair triggered. So it was a little bit tricky to get the focusing perfect in the rangefinder. But that wasn't it. When I saw the photographs, they weren't sharp. I know I dropped the camera in the unveiling video, but my carpet is a thick woolen carpet and it's got thick underlayer underneath, and I don't think that did the damage. Also in the unveiling I said that the case that the camera came with was in very, very good condition. Rose tinted specs. If you look very closely, there's a bit missing there. and on here there's a big crack. This thing has been dropped in its case, and it's been dropped quite violently, and I think because of that, I think the elements or an element in the lens excuse me, has become displaced, and so what seemed like a good purchase turned out not to be so good. I can't blame the seller, because I have to say the thing looks perfect and it makes all the right sort of noises when you try it out without the film in. And I'm sure that the person who sold it came from a house clearance or something like that. They may not know cameras, and you wouldn't really know there was any problem with it until you shoot a film through it. So I can't blame the seller. The seller said it was untested. I thought I'd gotten away with it when I opened it up, and I thought this is a good condition camera, but it's not. And to a certain effect, to a certain extent, it's disappointing, but it's the risk you take buying old cameras. We'll have a look at the photographs and then I'll give you my final conclusion and tell you how my love affair with Balda cameras has developed. We'll have a look at the photos. So, this is the 6th Balda camera I've owned. Of those 6 cameras, 2 have worked perfectly. 2 were discarded when I got them because were beyond reasonable repair, beyond economic repair, and certainly outside of my capabilities of repair. You've got this one that sort of works, but you can't predict whether or not your photos are going to be in focus or sharp. And I've got another one which again was bought and tested, and it has sticky shutter blades which I may risk opening up the lens to get to the shutter and clean, lubricate and adjust. I may not. So out of 6, 2 have worked perfectly. I always thought that Balda were well made. They certainly look well made, but 2/3 of them haven't worked when I've got them. So I think Balda may be a brand to be very cautious about buying, especially the ones from the late 50s and early 60s. I have friends who use older folding cameras from Balda, and they love them. Probably because they're simpler and there's less to go wrong with them. When I compare them with something like Kodak from the same era, I've got two Kodak Retinets, a 1A and a 1B, and same age as the Baldas, but both the Kodaks work perfectly. The German Kodaks were made in the factory that they acquired when they bought the Nagel camera company, and I have to say they are brilliant cameras. I know that Baldas weren't as expensive as the Kodaks, but they weren't cheap when they were being sold, when they were sold new. For example, I looked up a price of a Kodak Retinet advertised in an early 60s magazine or paper, and the cost was equivalent in today's money of around about £600. A Balda was the equivalent of between £300 and £400, so a bit less expensive, but certainly not cheap. So maybe the Baldas aren't as well made as the Kodaks or even the Zeiss, but it's a shame because I like them, they're quirky. I've got one which I still use regularly, the Balda Supermatic, and the lens on that is a cracker. A Snyder Xenar lens, can't complain about that. So this Balda, the Baldessa 1B, I think is going to be a display model. It's nice enough to look at, it's just at the moment it isn't reliable and I can't trust it. So it's a shame. Looking at my next video, I'm going to use a camera that I know to be good, with a lens that I know to be good, with a decent film, so I can really make a decision on whether this 510 Pyro is a great developer or not. I think it is a good developer. It certainly does all the things that it claims to do, and when I was out taking photos with the Balda, my negatives came out thin, and I don't think it's a metering. I think the metering is actually fine on it. Lady Olden went out with the Nikon TW2, the twin lens compact camera, and shot some very similar shots, and developed the negatives at the same time. They came out a bit thin, same as on the Balda. So I think the processing time for HP5, which is on the 510 Pyro website at 8 minutes 15 seconds, I think it's under developing. I think it needs a little bit longer than that. Most of the other 400 speed films need longer than that. So if I do HP5 again, I might up the development to 9 minutes. Anyway, that's it for now, and we'll see you again soon. Hopefully it won't be such a long wait for the next video, but I have to say the weather's been pretty dreadful, very dull, very cold. We've had storms, and I do this photography for pleasure. It's not my job, and if it's horrible out there, it's not a pleasure. and I don't want to be cobbling together videos using photographs that I took years ago. I want it all to be fresh. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.